Hi everybody. I know I haven't done an update in a while. I was trying to do them every 2 weeks on Sundays, but there's been a lot to go on, a lot to update you on, and so this is, warning. It's going to be a long post or video, but my mom's here. Just wanted to say hi. So it's not always me talking.
Hi.
Yeah, we're in the sunroom. It's late at night. Just kind of getting ready for bed. And tomorrow's my first chemo treatment. So
Yep, tomorrow it kind of gets the ball rolling on the treatment. So kind of a big day. Um, Chelsea's been such a trooper since all of this has started, and Chris. It's just been crazy whirlwind, like spin you around and not sure where you've landed type thing. But they've done a really good job of maneuvering through it and knowing which step to take next. And what a blessing that she has a really good doctor and just team of specialists from surgeon to um, oncologist to everyone in between. Just stay on top of things. And we know that it is a God thing. Not only does she have a really good team, but God brought her back here during this crazy time for a reason. Um, and we know that He is going to use all of this for a wonderful testimony. Um, God's going to use her in mighty ways because Chelsea is such an amazing person and she's got a heart of gold. And it's kind of crazy, but we're not allowed to go in with her. So she's going to be making all kinds of friends. And we all know Chelsea and her personality. She doesn't know a stranger. Um, so I know that she's going to brighten a lot of people's lives when she's there. But keep your positive thoughts coming, keep your prayers coming. Rally behind her because I think the next week or so is probably going to be a little bit rougher than what we've experienced.
a lot of unknown. Just had a really good day today, energy wise, and so just trying to
Too much. I kept telling her to slow down.
just trying to appreciate today because I was riding bicycle with Josie and made some really good food like rich, nice carbonara and some amazing blueberry muffins and you just hear so many stories and everyone's case is different, but you don't know if you're going to lose taste or like preference for food, how bad the fatigue's going to be if you want to go for a walk or a hike with family and friends, and you don't know if you're going to be sick all the time. So just trying to do one of those, live in the moment, appreciate everything you have, and yeah, so I said it was a good day.
Yeah, it has been a good day. All the prayers are being felt because we have joy and peace right now, even though we know we're about to head up a big mountain. But we're going to keep that joy and peace around us. Chelsea's all packed. Got her little bag ready, her chemo bag, and snacks and things to drink and things to do, and she's prepared.
I feel like I am going on a work trip. It's a long layover, and thanks Road Creamery and David for preparing me for I feel like this. And yeah, I don't know if I have anything else. Obviously, we'll have an update next week on how I'm doing. I might pull in Chris or Josie to if I'm feeling pretty fatigued so that everyone knows what's going on and how that really worked. I mapped out the potential next few sessions. So I have to do 6 total. And it looks like I might be finished by end of September or early October. So, and then we'll move on to the next step. So,
Yeah.
all right. So ready for some updates. And are you going to bed?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming.
Love you.
Love you too.
See you in the morning.
All right. All right. So just me again. I took my glasses off, couldn't handle that glare. But we have a number of updates. I wrote it all out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 updates. So Again, like I said, this is a long post. Sorry about that. But this is update number 1. On the 27th, I went to an radiological, it's called Austin Radiological Association, ARA, to get the breast MRI. And that was a little weird. I think I was nervous, and Chris and I went to a little brewery pizza spot beforehand and ate, and I had a beer, and then went in there and didn't know they were going to inject me with anything. I knew that with the CT bone scan they were going to do that, but I was kind of like, whoa, should I have had a beer? And so they IV'd me, stuck me, had to dress down, and then kind of shuffle in to this room. There's all this big equipment, lab tech on the other side, glass wall, but she gave me some earplugs. It was very, very noisy. You have your little, they always have a front-facing robe type of thing, and you have to situate yourself on this MRI machine because they have to get a good image of both breasts. And so just imagine straddling something like you're going to be laying down on your stomach, but where your chest area was where the woman's breast is, there's just like a T-shaped paddle to support your upper chest. And your 2 ladies just hang down. And they cautioned you, do not move, do not wiggle, don't do anything, because if you do, you're gonna have to come back if they don't get a good image. So they slide you in, and I was just trying to get as comfortable as possible because it was like a full 30 to 40 minute thing. Might have even been longer. But your face isn't, it's like you're going in for a massage, but not nearly as pleasant. And so while just dangling. So very, very loud, and it would be like an 8-minute session with something that was like nee, 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 and then like a 3-minute session that was like dink, 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 just really odd noises that are not something. And with the earplugs, that's how loud it was. Was glad to get that over with. So the idea with that was see the size of the mass, because up to this point there had only been an ultrasound, and by both my surgeon and an ARA location I'd done previously, but you can only see so much through those solar waves, whatever they are, and the MRI provides a much better image, and you can tell if the tumor is connected to the chest wall, or if it's larger than anticipated. Anyways, so I do have an update on that. They found 2 other masses. Before, we knew there was something in they call the 3 o'clock position, but my surgeon thought it was just a tendril of the main tumor mass. And then they found something in the 9 o'clock position. And so they relayed that to my surgeon, and it was just something for us to know about. I mean, we already know we have a large mass. It wasn't anything more alarming, I guess. So there is that. And so then the next day, this is update number 2. That was the day that I had to go in for the CT scan and the bone scan. You had to fast. Couldn't have anything after, I don't know, it was like 9 a.m. or something like that. And it was a different Austin Radiological ARA location. And that one you have to, so what happened was I went into a room and dressed down, and this woman who handles the bone scan side of things stuck me again with the IV, and they injected radioactive isotopes. And the idea with that is that, from what I understand, you can Google it some more, but it goes to all parts of your body where there's certain cells, like toes, legs, head, and it's basically like a dye, and if there's no other concerning like rapidly developing cells, masses, it will just on the image be all over your body. It'll look normal. But if there is something concerning, like another mass somewhere in your bone, obviously like your leg or hip or something like that, then it will group there. It will like gravitate to that location. And so in the image, it would be very obvious that there is something else there. But it takes, I think, 5 or 6 hours for that to go into effect. And so we did that first, and then went straight into I'm gonna wait for this. Well, it's 11 o'clock here. Anyways, so after the dye isotopes were injected, I was shuffled straight in to do the I can't remember what I have done now. CT scan. So they give you another kind of gel thing that makes you, this is what you, if you ever research it, will make you feel like you're losing bladder control, like you're peeing yourself. And that was kind of unpleasant, just laying on another thing, your hands are above your body, and it had the IV for the bone scan was just jammed into my, I think it was in the, no, it was in here. And they made me like change clothes, take my bra off, do all these things. You have to put your hand above your head and just imagine like, a needle, because they didn't take it out, they just taped it up, because she had to inject something, or they injected something else, so that once they had done that, they were able to remove it. So that was over pretty quick, just laying there, but your thoughts are running in your head, thinking about a lot of possibilities. Do I have cancer other places? Do I, is it way more serious than we think? Just a lot of thoughts on death, mortality, cancer in general. I mean, how many people are touched by cancer every day? You can't go more than 3 people in your circle, without knowing someone who's passed or had cancer. And unfortunately, in my case, the people I know have died. And so it's a scary thing. It's really scary. Just really thankful for the network I have. So that was the day that Chris and Josie came up, and were just waiting in the car with me. They knew it was going to be a long day. So after the CT scan, I was released and allowed to go do things for a couple hours. This was actually Josie's birthday. I forgot. Her 30th birthday. She is such a trooper. Said she will come with me to Austin and hang out while I'm getting this work done. This is so silly. So I found out I could eat food, and I had been fasting, so we went to find something to eat, and we decided to go to Central Market. And Josie and Chris had never been to Central Market before, and so I was just showing them what it was like, and we wanted like some wholesome food, so we got some fresh pressed juices. I think I got a slice of pizza from the deli, and some people got wraps, just that kind of thing. And then we got some desserts. So you can imagine her big 30th birthday, and she's just sitting in a booth in a grocery store eating food with her older sister, waiting for the time to go back. So it was kind of comical. We laughed about it for sure. Definitely. And when I went back, I did bone scan, and that was relatively simple. You just lay on your back, and it's just like the old school printers or like scanning something from like 20, 30 years ago, but it would just go like an inch at a time, and it would just scan your document so slowly. I was basically doing that to my body. And so I wasn't really supposed to move then either, and she actually rubber banded my legs together. So just kind of closed my eyes. Radio was playing, and I think I fell asleep. So all painless things besides the IVs those days. Just very unpleasant thoughts and waiting game to find out what they said. So the results on that were actually very good. They didn't come back with anything concerning. So that was really great news. And I got that call from Dr. King on the 5th of June. So from the 28th through the 5th, I had to just go through a kind of dark processing period while thinking, like, what am I going to find out? Do I have ovarian cancer? Do I have lung cancer? Do I have brain cancer? It's just, yeah. So that part was unpleasant. But then, we had a big milestone to celebrate. Chris and I had our first anniversary coming up. And so, update number 3. We got out of town, we left the house, did something for ourselves. We went to a neighboring town called Wimberley, and we stayed in a bed and breakfast. First, we went golfing with Chris, and he hasn't golfed since his bachelor party, so it was like a year since he'd been on the course. We both enjoyed it. I kept score for him. It was kind of funny. There were tons of deer, white-tailed deer feeding. It felt like we were in Ashland or something. And just funny being on a different course in a different state. It was his first time golfing in a different state. So then we found a winery, went to our first winery in Texas, and different kind of tasting room with like wood paneling, but the views were gorgeous. So the pricing and like the feel of the place exterior wise kind of felt like Belfiore, like a little bit, definitely not understated. But inside it was just so odd. And they had been advertising that their restaurant was open, but when we got there, that it wasn't. So we just snacked on some salami that they had in the case, some olives, and we had one of those like Costco packs of Italian cheeses. And so we just had our little snack. We went back into Wimberley, found a great food place called Ino's, and ate on the patio. Everyone's very cognizant of social distancing here still. All the waiters were wearing masks. We choose not to sit inside if possible, and sanitize and all that afterwards. But they had these amazing fries with bacon and sour cream, and there's like a layer of queso on the bottom, and I definitely want to go back to get those. So then we had to hurry back to the bed and breakfast because we had booked a massage. Chris really wanted to do a massage. He had his first one last year when we were getting ready for the wedding, and he loved it. Was like a side-by-side couples thing, and it was really nice, relaxing, just the two of us and 2 other strangers. So it was just a nice day. We kind of went to bed early. It was a great room, nice air conditioning, all that. And then breakfast the next morning, we had a chance to talk to the owner. It was just so funny how people get placed in your path that have the same or have a story to share or have something similar in their lives happen. So this woman has a husband and 2 children and been working in financing for many years, but her dream was to always own a bed and breakfast. And if any of you know me during high school years with the home ec club, FCCLA, I went to nationals with a business plan for a bed and breakfast. And it's always something I've kind of wanted to do later on in life. And so just hearing her story was really fun. She was actually the director, I believe, of the chamber in Wimberley, Chamber of Commerce. So that was fun. And then she told us how she went through a hospitality and tourism program and was just kind of like leading 2 parallel lives of wanting to do something hospitality related and community related, but needing to like make money and support her family. And then with all the COVID stuff, they just found the right opportunity to get this place, and it was just so beautiful. So I left my information with them, offered to do some cheese classes if she's ever interested, because she's always looking for reasons to bring people in. And I also wanted to offer to, like, I guess, do an unpaid internship or something like that with her, to get some more experience with um, booking and managing room stays. I don't have any experience doing that, but I thought it would be something to do over the summer to kind of learn something new. But didn't get a chance to talk to her any further, and I just left her my email. So waiting for her to contact me whenever she feels like it. Anyways, so it was just a good day, good kind of 24 hours. And we came back home and knew that we had an appointment with my oncologist, Dr. Klein, that afternoon. It was a telemedicine one. So this is update number 4. Dr. Klein just wanted to touch base with me. We knew that there was no information from the bone scan or the breast MRI yet, CT scan, all that stuff I'd done a few days prior. So she just asked how I was feeling. I told her that I had been having some depression and further anxiety, and what should I do about that. And she went ahead. I don't know how she even knew my pharmacy, but she prescribed all of the stuff, higher dosage of lorazepam, Zoloft, and she had reasons for prescribing me Zoloft. She said that it can be addicting, and there are more things I want to actually look at before I start taking it tomorrow. But she said that under the regimen that I will be doing tomorrow, she prefers to do kind of this older depression focused medicine for that. So we'll see how it goes. But nothing crazy with the talk with her. Everyone was around, like, waiting to hear. We thought the update was going to come from Dr. Klein, and I had actually, I think I had heard, no, I hadn't heard from King yet, but yeah, we were just kind of like, okay, well, that was 20 minutes of random, but it was nice to touch base with her, and I actually felt more reassured the first meeting. I wasn't so keen on her as an oncologist. Seemed to me that she was just kind of repeating or following a regimen that she's done like a million times with patients like me, and I want somebody who has my best interests at heart and really is not afraid to mix it up, depending on the person. And so I wasn't sure, and Chris and Mom both thought that I should give it a second chance because they didn't get the same vibe when they FaceTimed. So it was nice to get that chance to chat with her again, and I would agree that she seemed very informed, and every time I asked about a side effect of something, she was quick to answer, and she knows her stuff, definitely. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know how much I'll see her tomorrow, but they've definitely made a point of scheduling my chemo treatments around when she's in the office, or when her like nurse practitioner who works under her is there. So I believe her name is Mary Jane Berry. But anyway, so I'll definitely update you guys with the chemo, how that goes tomorrow. Okay, so then the next update is regarding my fertility, my decision with it, and just kind of like 3 days of hard. That's all I can say. Sad, hard, emotional days. So this is update 5, I believe. So I tried to explain this to my brother-in-law, Michael, earlier today. When you're forced to come up with or make a decision about family planning that you weren't ready to make prior, and it feels like you're getting pressure from all sides. You're talking to people who don't have your best interest at heart. It's these astronomical prices, and you don't know how you're going to pay for it. Making the wrong decision feels like turning your back on motherhood. These are the thoughts that I had going through my head for like 3 days. And I was just crying and crying, not knowing if the scans were going to come back positive for something. Because then, to me, fertility isn't an option anymore. It's me first, survival first. How do I, change course like that? And then the companies I was working with here felt so cookie cutter. Like, she dismissed my insurance, said it wasn't covered, I would be paying out of pocket, and when would I like to start coming in? And the websites and the videos and the interactions, they just felt like they were meant for a couple very keen and desperate. Desperate's a bad word. They were ready for that type of thing in their life. They tried other methods. They knew this is something they wanted, and it would just be right for them. And Chris and I don't fit that mold. We haven't had the family planning discussions as much. We wanted to take the time in Ghana during Peace Corps to enjoy ourselves as man and wife in a marriage, doing something unusual and life-changing before we had that conversation about family planning. We thought we had 2 years or more to wait to kind of take that step. And all of a sudden, my oncologist is telling me I need to make a decision by Friday. And I've called another fertility location for a second opinion, and they can't even get me. They made appointments that I hadn't agreed to and I couldn't make or keep. They wouldn't call me back. It felt so difficult, so hard to move forward. Everything felt like a blockade, detour, and I'm a big proponent of, if it's meant to be, things will open up. It will. It's not always easy, but options will become available. A resource will happen. Things like Peace Corps was a prime example. It was really hard to go through all the medical things in December, to sell our belongings, to say goodbye to friends and family, and not be quite sure if we were still going or not, because the communication was limited. It's just, but it happened, and we pushed through it, and we had 3 amazing months in a different country, met amazing people. And so that's what I was comparing it to. And eventually, when I made the decision not to move forward with cryopreservation of my eggs or doing an embryo, I did feel a weight lifted. The whole point of going through Peace Corps in Ghana, besides learning something, changing our lives, was to try and become a little more debt-free and start over when we came back, ready to buy a house and discuss family planning. And the things that were told to me during the video conference regarding the fertility preservation just weren't reassuring. I don't know if there's other places that this is different, that could have offered me something better, but as I mentioned, I don't think it was meant for us. I don't think it was meant to be. But they told us that it was a 60 to 70% chance of a viable pregnancy. I had 10 to 12 days of shots I would need to do to stimulate eggs going down, I guess, through the fallopian for them to be able to harvest more of the eggs at one time instead of one, which is what you normally release monthly. They're looking to get 8 to 10 to 15 or something like that. And so I'm thinking about the number of days that I have to do that line up with your personal hormonal, schedule, and delaying treatment. I'm thinking about the chance of the pregnancy not even being viable down the road and wasting all the money because I understand that they implant 2 or 3 embryos to make sure that one of them is successful. There are additional storage fees they don't tell you about on the price list. That's something you have to ask or know to ask about, that are around $600 a year. And so 3 years from now, if that's how long it takes before we move forward with something like this, that's $1,800 more dollars. And Chris and I just aren't in a financial place to do something like that. And I know our family and our friends would pitch in if they had to. So I was floating the idea with Josie and Lindsay, like, should we start a GoFundMe page and just talk about it being kind of for medical expenses or anything? And I wasn't sure what to do because I'm still not big on sharing this with the world. I just want to keep it small, I think, for now. And I knew that if we did a GoFundMe, that it would be out there. Everyone would know about it. And then all of the George Floyd, you know, I don't know what to call it, the rioting, the looting, the protesting, all very important matters at hand, big conversations, important conversations are happening around the clock on the news all the time. It's just like we're living in a sad world. It's getting darker as the days go on. 2020 sucks. And so that's why I say that those 3 or 4 days last week were pretty hard. I think it was last week. Anyways, so when I made the decision to just move forward with the shot, felt much better. And so the idea with the shot, it's called Zoladex. That's the brand name. It's also called Gozerelin. And I think it's also used to be treated for like colon cancer in men. But the idea with it is it's a shot I get in my stomach every 4 weeks, and it suppresses ovarian function. It essentially is shutting down your ovaries. I think they said it makes your body think that you're pregnant or you're going into menopause, and it protects the eggs you do have from the harsh chemo treatments. And I'm just being told a lot of things all the time. And one of the big things that propelled me to this decision is plenty of women don't have any shot, don't have any fertility preservation, and go through chemo and still have babies. Plenty of women do the shot and have successful pregnancies as well. And so I just thought, let's give this one a try. It's covered by insurance, and if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be. Chris and I are the type of people to consider adopting, foster care, being parents to a child that needs a better life. So, yeah, that will be a discussion for later down the road, but that's what I've decided, and I feel good about it. I still don't regret the decision. And then a day or two later, maybe it was the same day I made that decision, I got the call from Dr. King about there being no concerns at the moment for the bone scan and the CT scan. So ever since, I've been not on a high, but in a roller coaster of emotions. I'm on the uptick right now. So that's why I mentioned wanting to really take advantage of today. I finally feel back to normal fatigue, anxiety-wise, and was able to make some good food, get some things done. Been crafting a little bit, and Josie and I went for a bike ride. Just a solid day, so that was good. So the next update is following all the news. I don't know what date this was. It was last Thursday. I had to go in and get my port placement. And I'm going to have some photos at the end. I'm going to do some photos of the bed and breakfast, photos of what my port placement looks like, and anything else we might have taken. So for that, I couldn't eat anything starting at midnight. And I went to Austin to the surgical care center, and nobody could come in with me. Mom and Chris dropped me off, and they said they would wait till I was finished. I think it was only like an hour in our procedure, hour and a half after. So it was like 4 hours that they were just doing stuff around town. And go in, had more IV stuff done, dressed down, get in the bed. I was having like a full anesthesia surgery type thing. It was just outpatient. So they gave me the massagey things for your legs to prevent blood clots. Talked to the anesthesiologist prior. I'd never been put under before, so I was very nervous about how I was going to come out of it, because my mom had a bad reaction recently, and she just wasn't waking up well. Her oxygen levels weren't coming back how they wanted, and they ended up taking her to the hospital in an ambulance. So not sure how my body was going to react to that, because I do take after her a lot. So I just raised those concerns with him. And then Dr. King came in, and I gave her an update on the fertility decision and how I was feeling. I did tell her that my breast, the cancerous one, was looking different, and there's like an indentation underneath that seems like the skin is drawing in, and there was some discoloration and things up top. And so I raised those concerns with her. She took a look at it and said that she had a conversation with my oncologist already about the appearance, and that they think I could have inflammatory breast cancer, which means that it has gone into some of the skin tissues and skin cells in the breast, and all that means, it's not a huge concern, like raise of concern, is that it will change my surgery options, that I will most definitely have to do a mastectomy instead of any other lumpectomy options. And it doesn't really stress me out, because I've already been leaning towards mastectomy. I'd rather get this out and move on with my life and not worry about it coming back, at least not in this area. So she said that for the procedure, they were going to place the port, but to avoid further discomfort, they were going to take biopsies of the 2 locations, the 3 o'clock and the 9 o'clock, that ARA found during the breast MRI. They were going to tattoo my lymph node in my right armpit that came back positive for cancer, so that when they do surgery, they can just go in and remove it quickly and not have to try and figure out which one it was. And they were going to take the skin biopsy and a biopsy. Oh yeah, sorry, I already talked about the other biopsy. So went in, it's like, let's do this. I don't remember. I remember getting wheeled out of a room and going through a second set of doors, and then nothing. And I was supposed to be able to transfer myself to the operating bed, or whatever you want to call it, from what they were wheeling me out of. And I don't know what I said. I don't know what I did. I think the medicine, like, it didn't take effect until I had done those things, but the short-term memory loss is a side effect, and so it was just kind of comical because I'm like, I hope I behaved. I was good. Um, so then I woke up. Everything was good. I did have some nausea, and luckily, since I hadn't eaten, I didn't have to worry about that. But I was definitely using a bag, kind of just what's it called, retching, or nothing was coming up, but I was not feeling well. So I had to get into a wheelchair coming back from anesthesia and waking up, get into a wheelchair, go to a different building and get a chest x-ray to make sure that the surgeon hadn't really like scraped or done anything to other important organs. So that was very comical, kind of like a drugged drunk person standing up and holding on for dear life to the x-ray machine. But I got the all clear, and actually it was Josie and Chris who went for the surgery. I think mom had to work that day, so they got in the front seat, basically slept all the way till we got home. And when I got home, I just was very out of it. I was just gonna go to bed, and mom said, well, don't do that. You need to stay up for a little bit and make sure you're good, and you know, stay vertical or whatever you want to call it. So I sat in the recliner chair, and they all went for a like walk around the neighborhood, and I fell asleep anyways. I'm just sitting up, and so I hear them come back and realize what I've been doing, and I was like, I'm not doing this, and I just went to bed. Um, so that was a fine night. It was night 2 that sucked. It just so uncomfortable where the biopsy locations were taken on the right side. The idea with the port is it's like non-visible. It's under my skin. I know it's hard to see, but these are still steri strips that you're not supposed to take off and just let them come off on their own. But there's a tube, plastic tubing, that basically is how the medicine is administered, that needs to go into a vein. And the reason they do a port is because if you have a like IV, intravenous drain vein, in your arm, there's a strong chance over 5 hours of chemo treatment that it's going to collapse, or it's not a strong enough vein. And so they choose to do it in one of 4 locations under your, not collarbone, but like under here area, or in your right or your left, what is it called? Jugular, your jugular vein. So woke up and found out, and I thought that that's how they were going in for some reason. I didn't realize that I'm going to have a tube in my vein, this jugular side over here. You can see location. There's stitches for the next year. So that was not comfortable at all. Moving your head, twisting it, it's fine now. So obviously, don't take what I have to like think that I was complaining about how I've been acting now, but it you just felt like it was pulling. If you pulled your neck back too far, sleeping on the left side was impossible. I ended up on night 2 sleeping out in the living room again because my mom has a great recliner that you can kind of choose how far back you go. And definitely took advantage of the pain medicine they offered, tramadol, which is a mix of codeine and Tylenol. And just was like, wow, this is intense, because everyone on the Facebook private page I'm on for breast cancer patients going through this currently said how easy of a procedure it was, and they were up and going the next day. Well, my fatigue has been really strong. I would just fall asleep like around 3 p.m. for a couple hours, and then be up at all ends of the night, staying up till 1 or 2 a.m. and just being really uncomfortable. And so the last couple of days gone back to normal. I think any bruising or anything has gone down. The main patch, like dressing, has come off. The neck feels good. So it's good. It was a good amount of time before chemo starts. So the idea with the port is I got some lidocaine cream, numbing cream, and you're supposed to smear it all over the area. Apparently, I'm supposed to be able to feel where it is, and I think I can. To numb the area, and then they come in with bags of this chemo medicine and poke the needle through the skin into the port, and it just goes in that way into this big vein to get administered to your system. When the bag runs out, they go to the next one. So it's going to be a 5+ hour session tomorrow. Not too worried about it, other than unknown with the side effects. So I'm trying to be prepared. Yeah. So that was the port surgery.
I love my sissy.
Heading to Austin, get the port placement today. Gonna be put under like a little bit of anesthetic, and it'll be in and out in a couple hours. A lot of anxiety because of the unknown, but got my team here. Chris is driving, Josie's in the back, and I'm wearing my "When Life Gives You Lemons, Find Someone Who Has Vodka and Party" shirt.
There you go. We'll be in the party.
So we'll update later on how it all goes. Bye. Next update was what I did this week. Oh my gosh, we've gone to Austin 2 times already. Tomorrow will be the third, and it's not a bad drive. It's only like 40 minutes to an hour, but if it can be avoided, we try. And so on the 9th, I think that was Tuesday. This is update number 8. 9 and 10. I had to do all of this precursor work, and it sounds like I'll have to do this every time that I have a session. So they want to get your blood work, find out where your white blood cell count is. They check if you're pregnant. They check like liver enzymes, all kinds of stuff to make sure that you are okay to just jump on this really intense treatment. I call it poison all the time because I hate it. But yeah. And so had my blood drawn, had to fill like 5 vials of blood, and then finished that, and I went into a different area of the building and got that Zoladex shot. And I thought it was supposed to be in my arm, and she said, closes the door and tells me, just lay back, it's going in your stomach. But the good thing with that was that it didn't take too long. It's a very large needle. I try not to look at. It goes in, inserts some like small little pellet type thing that dissolves over the 4 weeks before I have to get the next session or injection. It was just unpleasant for like 3 seconds when it went in and came back out. It felt like it was pulling something out, and it was like, oh, okay, no, we're done. All right. So that was that day, and I knew that I needed to get an echocardiogram on my heart. So the idea with that is that because I tested positive for the HER2 hormone, I'm getting an extra couple treatments, medicines to go after the tumor that other women who don't test positive for this get, but it can be harmful on your heart. So every, I think they said 3 to 4 months, I have to get an echocardiogram to make sure that they don't need to pull me off of that medicine. So I had to go in again to Austin because it was the only place that could squeeze me in within a short period of time. And the chemo was scheduled, so if I didn't get that done, I was going to have to push it out. And the nice nurse who did the Zoladex shot showed me the area for the chemo treatment. They have recliner chairs, and there's about 5 of them per nurse's station. She said that they try and assign the same nurse every time. So you get to know them very well, I was told, and you just request an area with an outlet if you need to plug in and for media and stuff, and they have snacks available if you need it. I am trying to fast, so there's some research out there, no proven anything. It's just some thoughts people have that fasting can really help shrink some rapidly dividing cells like what you have when you eat food. And instead, the medicine poison that I'm getting. So when it goes into your body, it just goes to any cells that rapidly divide. So that's why you lose your hair. Hair follicles are one of those rapidly dividing cells. And it just doesn't know how to differentiate what's a good cell and what is the bad tumor mass you're trying to get rid of. So by fasting, I understand that it helps shrink those cells. It converts energy to other places. And obviously, if I don't have a bunch of food in my system and I get super nauseous, I'm not throwing up solids. So it seems like a win-win option for me. I understand it helps cut down on nausea and potentially fatigue. So I thought, why not give it a try? At least this time and the next time, and see how it's going. I have some backup crackers, mints, all kinds of stuff, just in case I really can't handle it tomorrow. But all week I've been doing extended fasting or intermittent. So I started 16 hours, 17, 18. I had a solid lunch, probably not the food you're really supposed to eat on fasting, but I wanted something to remember if I have some weird side effects after chemo. And I am choosing to try and wait to eat again until sometime on Saturday. So from around 2 o'clock this afternoon, all day tomorrow, and then morning, maybe afternoon on Saturday, I will have some light food. Your system can process soft vegetables, nuts, eggs, bone broth, water after coming off a fast like that. And so that's what I got at the store today. And I'll report on how it goes. Who knows? But it's something to consider. I'm down to consider everything: meditating, exercise, all that, all the good stuff. So yeah, I think that completes the updates. Thank you all for staying with me this long, whoever is still there. Looking forward to getting the ball rolling, as my mom said. I have a big bag packed. Feels like I'm going on a little trip. Shawl, blanket, socks, eye mask, earplugs. I'll be all set. I can read, watch a movie, do some things I've been meaning to, check off a list. I don't know. I think the time's gonna go plenty fast. So keep me in your thoughts. Glad I was able to finally pull this together and update you guys, and I hope to do it more regularly. Obviously, with a better mindset, outlook, feeling, everything, it's easier to do. So when I don't do the updates, it's probably not a great time. Just keep that in mind, and that we're all trying to navigate this unknown. So everyone's different. Just do it gracefully. But so long for now. See you guys soon. And remember to post any questions you have below. And I'll post the link to information about fasting and the idea behind this, so in case you're curious. Anyways, love you guys. Talk to you later. And yeah, have a good night.